Hi guys, it's Sarah with Spirit Expressions. Today we are doing some beginner Kirigami. There is a free SVG in my description. You can download it from my site www.spirit-expressions.com, and then you can upload it to Design Space in Cricut. As you can see, it has two different parts on the screen. It's got horizontal and vertical parts. That is so that you can create scoring. Tag it however you'd like. I prefer to work in a larger size. Of course, the SVG, when it pops up on Design Space, is pretty small, as most of them are. So keep the aspect ratio locked and just make it large to 7. Ungroup them and then select the part that is scored, which is that part over there that looks like the backward C. Change all of them to score. When I created the SVG, I created it in groups so that it should be easy to select both pieces as groups. But do make sure that they are in groups before you do this, and then center them, and it will be nicely centered for you on your page. Now, it's very important that you go down there and hit attach before you print. I'll show you what it looks like when you don't hit attach. And I just noticed that when I recentered them that it changed my size again. So I'm changing my height to 7, and it will change the width to 8.5. If you don't hit attach, you just hit create or make, then it will break them up into the scored lines and to the cut lines. So very simple, just hit cancel, select everything. I use Control A to do this, and click attach. Once you make that, it will make everything into the same pattern so that you can cut it on your page and have it centered. I do tend to make my mat smaller. It's just because my own personal preference. I don't like working on a visually larger mat. The most important thing is to move it down so that that top line is right on the 2-inch mark. Ignore the boundary boxes, the red boundary boxes around the edge of your mat. In order to get your project perfectly lined up, we will actually have to put the paper down on the mat with a 1/4-inch border. I made 1/4-inch marks on my cutting mat with a sharpie, which is an alcohol ink, so it is dissolvable by alcohol, and used it to align my paper on my Cricut mat with 1/4-inch borders. I used a ruler then to check and make sure that I was even all the way around, since I didn't have the edge of the line to use as a boundary. By the way, I have not actually tested alcohol on the sticky part of my mat. I am guessing that it will dissolve the glue, so don't write all over your mat. So here is the cut paper with the scored lines. Some of these scored lines will have to be folded towards the score, and some of them will have to be folded away from the score. I'm honestly not sure which one works better. My inclination is to fold towards the score on the larger fold, which is at the end of the cut lines. I'm lucky enough to have picked up this little tiny ruler from somewhere. I think it belonged to my mom and possibly to my grandmother before her. Anything would work: butter knife, any kind of ruler with a straight edge, credit card. Just something sharp to fold that paper against so that those score lines can have something to bend against. I'm just kind of pushing down on the fold a little bit more to emphasize it before I start doing the small folds. When I start the small folds, I don't fold as much as I know that I need to, so that I don't bend the rest of them. You have to be very gentle with it because it is quite easily torn. The shape is coming together now. I obviously have some more folding that I need to do and increase the sharpness of those folds a little bit more. After I get everything folded to my satisfaction, I am just scrunching the paper up along those cut lines to see where I might like it to lie. I was originally thinking at 2 inches, but I found that I liked it a little bit better at 1.5 inch overlap. Of course, I really did like this 1/2 inch overlap too. I thought that was really pretty. But at 1.5 inches, I found that the folds closest to the edges made right angles. So that's what I left it at. I glued my edges down with just a rather regular craft glue stick that I had lying around. I thought I filmed it and then realized that I didn't. I grabbed my orange alcohol ink on vellum project just to show what it would look like to have a background behind this. I think it would look really pretty made into a light box or something similar with a light source behind it. As does the white one I made off camera, maybe with a mat around it.